This is the Codcast. All things Whitby Town FC.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode. I'm Andrew Snaith, joined by Liam Ryder from the Whitby Town media team, looking ahead to what's going to be a pretty busy week, it sounds like. After my discussion with Lee Bullock earlier on, we'll have that a little bit later on in the programme, but he's been busy in the transfer market already this week. We see the return of a very familiar face in Jack Norton, and he caught up with Paul earlier.
So Jack, first of all, welcome back to Whitby Town Football Club. First of all, your reaction to rejoining Whitby?
I'm happy, mate. I'm happy to come back to Whitby. Whitby was always a club that I was fond of. I had, I think, 2 seasons maybe down there when Charlie was the manager. I always enjoyed my time at Whitby. The fans are up there, are good. Some of the fans I still speak to be honest with you. I've got them on social media and things like that, and I speak to them often. So coming back, it was a no-brainer, mate. Like, there was a few things on the table, but speaking to Bully, my decision was made up as soon as I come off the phone with him. To be honest with you, it was an easy one.
Yeah, it's sort of a familiar kind of pattern, really, Jack. In terms of you come in and you're replacing Shane Bland at the football club as the number one goalkeeper. How quickly did that contact from Bully come after the end of the season?
It didn't come at the end of the season. It was about a week and a half ago, I think. I spoke to Bully. Excuse me. I spoke to Bully. He obviously said that he was interested. But then obviously there was a couple of things to sort out regarding the contract with Bishop and things like that. But regarding going anywhere else, there wasn't really anyone else that I was really interested in. It was as soon as I put the phone down to Bully, it was I was dead set on coming to Whitby, to be honest with you, mate.
No, good stuff. And in terms of that move, then, it doesn't sound like it needed much selling from Lee Bullock to you.
It doesn't, mate. I've known Bully a long time now, and Bully's one of the good ones, one of the good guys in football. And I bet my bottom dollar that I'm not the only one to say that. And this point in my life or career, whatever you want to call it, I prefer to play for people that I trust, people that I know, because there's a lot of people, a lot of managers, clubs out there that they don't do what they say on the tin. I've come to find that out these days, mate. Do you know what I mean? So playing for someone that I know and trust in Bully, it was, like I say, it was an easy one, easy.
No, good stuff. And in terms of that, in terms of those conversations with Bully, then, what's he sort of sold your role as? Obviously, you'll be the first choice goalkeeper, but in terms of the dressing room as well, I assume, he'd be looking to you to maybe take on that bit more of a leadership role. Yeah,
he said that straight away, mate. Yeah, obviously there'll be a few new heads coming in. Obviously, I believe that there's been a few gone out the door. So there's going to be a few coming in, and from what I can gather, I think he's looking at me for a bit of experience in there, to go with maybe some younger lads who are maybe not as experienced at that level, or maybe coming down a level or two. Yeah, and I think that's one of the main factors. He wants me in there to be probably a voice, my character. He knows what type of character that I am. So yeah, I think that's what he's looking for from me, mainly the experience in there. Just be a voice in around the changing room and on the pitch, to be honest with you, mate.
This is the Codcast.
That's Jack Norton speaking to Paul Connolly. Yeah, Jack Norton, familiar face, and we've been speaking about this earlier on. 20 years apart from his debut back in 2006, which I think makes it a bit of a record-breaking signing. And on the other end of the scale, of course, young Charlie Stirland joining us, centre-half from Blythe Spartans, who Liam caught up with earlier on.
Well, Charlie, first of all, welcome to Whitby Town, and I guess really just one place to start. What's your sort of initial reaction after signing this contract with the club?
Yeah, I can't wait to get started. That's the first thing. And then mainly I just want to meet the lads, meet everyone at the club. I've heard a lot of good things, and yeah, just can't wait.
Yeah, and what do you feel that, Whitby Town are sort of offering to you that makes you think this is the right club for you at this stage of your career?
Well, I've heard good things about all the people at the club. It's a close-knit family, if you want to say. And it's also quite close to me as well, which comes hand in hand. So I'm a bit of a local lad, so yeah.
Yeah, and I've taken it as more sort of Lee Bullock that's kind of been the one in touch about the management team. So what sort of things has he told you in terms of his plans for you and also the team over the next season?
Well, he said he just wants to create a nice squad, a squad that's going to be fighting in the league and getting results that we want and climbing up the league. It's hopefully what we can do. Yeah,
and you've got sort of another month or so off before you sort of return to pre-season training. But I guess really once you do get started and meet all the players, it'll be then the next step. I suppose you're looking forward to getting down to the stadium and actually sort of meeting some of the supporters.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be very good to see what the atmosphere is like on a game day and things like that. So yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, and then just looking back through your career a bit as well, quite a bit of variety of experience. Playing in the Football League at MK Dons, I'm sure that was something that you'll really remember well. But also, the spells that you've had at non-league clubs, both down south and around this sort of area as well. I guess really, for someone at a young age like yourself, well experienced, and I'm sure you feel that can really benefit you.
Yeah, definitely. I've had it all. I've had the men's game experience, and then I've had the academy experience as well, and they've both shaped me into the player that I am today. So they've both helped me out, and it's what I need to kick on.
Yeah, and arriving at the club as well from Blythe Spartans, aside in the league below, but much like Whitby last season, fighting relegation for quite a spell. So as much as they are tough at the time, coming through that, again, really good for your experience there. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we were fighting relegation, but we managed to get the job done at Blythe, and we had a really good squad in the end. But yeah, they've all been good experiences, and they've all helped me. So yeah. Yeah, and in terms of your sort of style of play, what sort of things would you say your key attributes and the way you like to play football? Well, like I said, I've had the experience of both men's and academy football, so I've been taught to play, but I know when to be no nonsense and get rid. But I'm also fast, and I don't shut up on the pitch as well, so you'll be hearing a lot of them. Yeah, that was sort of leads on to the next question, actually, really, there. Just about sort of your character, and I guess in terms of you in the dressing room, I think you pretty much answered this. So it sounds like you're going to be a bit of a character in there and, have that sort of that personality that I'm sure Lee Bullock maybe is one of the reasons that's drawn you to him. Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, I'd like to say I'm not as loud off the pitch. I'm a little bit more reserved, quiet. But if someone needs telling, then I'll tell them. But especially on the pitch, I'm much louder as well, and more leading on the pitch. Yeah, and then just finally, really, you've probably been aware of quite a lot of outgoings at the club. But I'm sure that you're sort of keen to get involved, and I guess really, being told the right things, the fact that you've committed nice and early to the club for next season, I'm sure you'll be looking forward to see who else comes through the door now. Yeah, definitely. We want to try and build a squad that can challenge for next season, and I can't wait to see who comes in and meet the lads, yeah.
This is the Codcast.
That's Charlie Stirland speaking to Liam, and as I said, I spoke to Lee Bullock earlier on, so here is the Whitby Town manager speaking to me earlier. Okay, Bully, so obviously we go to the news of two additions for this week. We all know Jack Norton and his past at Whitby Town, his third spell joining us as goalkeeper, and Charlie Stirland, a new face, a youngster joining central defend. Just tell us a little bit more about Charlie.
So Charlie was brought to our attention having finished the season very well up the road at Blythe Spartans. Obviously, you can see Blythe's form back end of the season really picked up, and when Mark Nash went in and Charlie was part of that reason, he's got himself Young Player of the Year award. But he's what we want, what we're looking for at this football club. He's a young, hungry lad who wants to progress higher. He's seen Whitby Town as a great chance to come and play his football another level higher, and again with the ambition of going higher himself, whether it be with Whitby or with putting in good enough performances that help him achieve that. So it's what we want. It's what I want at the football club. Lads who are here for the right reasons, and the reasons of wanting to play the best football to progress. So yeah, a good signing. We welcome him. A really fit local lad.
Yeah,
North Yorkshire, Gisborough kind of way. So he knows the area, he knows the football club, and he's very keen to get on board and get going. So yeah, a great addition, and one we're very happy to have.
indeed. And of course, Jack Norton needs no further introduction. Obviously knows the club inside out himself. 39, returning to the club. We were discussing this actually, and I'll have to check with Steve Holliday, the official historian. Jack actually debuted at the club in 2006 as a teenager. I think on loan from York City, if mine serves me correctly. So I think he's the first player to have that 20-year gap to come back. But I'm presuming it's at the back of your mind there that you want that added experience at the back.
Yeah, Jack, obviously the opposite end of the spectrum, but Jack's shown I know Jack from when he's been here last time, when myself and Charlie were here. He never ever let us down. In fact, my head always remember him making big performances, big saves when Shane wasn't there. It's difficult to come into a football club and fill the net for someone like Shane Bland. Although Jack's older and more experienced, Shane, there's no denying, was a top keeper. But Jack came in and never ever let us down. He saved a penalty against Scarborough. Remember, I think his debut, if I'm right, when me and Charlie were at Hednesford, and he kept us a clean sheet or somewhere like that in a tough game. Yeah. And he's just shown from the minute Shane was going there, one, he was angry. Two, he's annoyed that he's getting replaced. So he had a point to prove. So it was an instantly, can we get him in? Goalkeeper-wise, we could have went young. We had a few options. But it just worries me that a keeper makes a mistake and it can play on the mind for a couple of games, especially in this level with what's at stake. Whereas keepers will make mistakes. So if Jack does make a mistake, and he will, it's probably out his head in a couple of minutes and he's back on his game. So that was a massive part of it. He's matured as a bloke, and he'll help us. And obviously we've got to start looking. Jack's 39, but it just gives us a bit more time to see what's out there. And we know we've got a really good experienced goalkeeper. And with what's going to be a youngish dressing room, he's top end of the experience, with a few other lads we're bringing in that needs to get a grip on the dressing room and show these fewer youngsters how our dressing room behaves. So yeah, Jack was no messing to get involved. He was desperate, and he's been very helpful, to be fair, with myself and Denny, with lads that he's came across, lads that he knows. So yeah, he's a good one to have.
I was going to say, I mean, how much was that in your thinking, Bully, there? Obviously, we spoke, last season, or you spoke on interview about, it's important that players want to play for the club, that want to be there. It sounds like, Jack is the epitome of that. He really wants to be at the club.
Yeah, he did. Obviously, he had a good opportunity where he was. He was on a decent contract. He came here for less money. All the lads that you find at the minute, I'll put my opinion on it. We're signing players slowly but surely. Tomorrow night, I'm speaking to a player. Thursday night, I'm at the ground with Denny, meeting a player that we hope might get signed. Sunday, myself and Denny are meeting another 2 players at the club. These are lads that are signing and coming because they want to play for the football club. Some of the signings out there, I'm not saying all of them at clubs, they're signing because they're getting big signing on fees. And that's why they're signing early, because clubs have got the money to say he's X amount of money, sign the contract. We haven't, and we won't. So the lads that are signing for us are signing because they want to be here. So, yeah, to answer your questions, it's a massive part of it. That's the characters we want. If we had the money in an ideal world, you could offer the big hitters money to sign now, but that's not where we are, and that's not what we are. It's done in the past. It's happened in the past when I've been here. Sometimes it works. It doesn't always. But at the minute, any lads who are coming into Whitby are coming in for the right reasons, and that's to come and play football because they want to be here.
Excellent. I was going to say, I mean, obviously we need to ask these questions of you from a supporter's perspective, which of course we are anyway, but it's what supporters want to see. You know, we're now starting to see players come in. Obviously, there's a lot of players that have left and are going to leave. And players themselves who are looking for new clubs are obviously, you know, listening and watching. They're seeing what's happening at clubs before committing. Do you get the impression that players are starting to, you know, to maybe look upon the club more favourably and say, oh, okay, well, they've signed him now, and maybe things are starting to come together now?
Yeah, so that's, like I said, the big moves have happened. The money moves, the big sign on fees. Now you've got lads who are pre-season training for us will start about 3 weeks, I think, 23rd of June. So lads really you get the group that want to be settled and in, ready for pre-season, and then you'll get the next group that spoke to a few lads who would like to have brought in, but they've been offered contracts at Whitby, but they've been offered opportunities a league higher. Now, I'm saying I want young lads who are desperate to progress their career, and they've got the chance already. So it's wrong of me to try and, obviously you try and persuade them to say, come to Whitby, play, and you'll get your chance. But if they're backing themselves to go and do a pre-season at a Darlington, a Spennymoor, or a South Shields, that's the attitude you're after. But some of them lads, it won't happen for them, because them clubs will already have their squads, or they'll have bigger, better players, and then them lads will come dropping back in 4 or 5 weeks' time. So you don't need your squad fully done till August the 8th, and probably then you'll be a couple of weeks after, because you'll have the fallout of lads who've been signed and been promised to play, and they find themselves on the bench for a couple of games and they're not happy. So it'll keep juggling till well into August, I guarantee you, all clubs. So, but at the minute, there'll be lads that wanting to get sorted in the next couple of weeks because they want to be ready to hit the ground running pre-season, and there'll be the group of players who are more than entitled to go around clubs and try. So that's how it'll be for the next few weeks. But trust me, we've got a lot of players interested. We spoke to so many. We've been turned down by, I'm not going to lie, I never lie, we've been turned down by quite a few. Some that are disappointing because I thought we had some good players. Some that are still out there with good contract offers, and some that we're wanting to have a look at. So there's loads going on. But just isn't enough hours in the day to get it all done at once.
And in terms of a captain, of a leader, I mean, have you got somebody in mind for that already? Is that something that you're going to think of a bit closer to the time?
No, there's a couple in the dressing room already that potentially could be. We lost out on right early at the start of pre-season on what we hoped would have been what we were bringing in as our captain, but family reasons and travelling, it didn't quite happen. So we're still on the lookout for that potential captain leader, and like I say, that might be one of these players who's ready to get settled in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, we still need a bit more experience, along with Gelly, Jack, and a couple of others to help these younger lads along.
And in terms of the young Whitby lads, I mean, are most of those who we saw feature Maybe some from the youth side. Are they likely to be invited back to be involved somewhere?
Yeah, we've got obviously Jack will be around. Tommy, Carl, who was with us. That I've spoke to them lads. That there's no better time to come in to this football club now, because you'll come in as an absolute equal, and
Yeah.
they'll get every opportunity to train Tuesday, Thursday with us, and plenty of minutes in the pre-season games. And I've said to the lads, I'm not expecting them to boss the games in pre-season. I'm not expecting them to run the show. I just want to see that they're willing and capable, which they are, and they can handle the level and the football club. And if they do that, they'll get every opportunity with us. However, I'm not stupid, and I've been around football long enough to know that keeping them around because they're from Whitby, but sitting them on the bench or not involving them, that's killing their progression. So if they need to play, they'll go out and play. But trust me, if they're good enough and there's positions, they'll play for us, because there's a good group of lads coming through now, and you'll hopefully see we're going to get a few more local lads in, which would be brilliant.
I was going to say, I mean, I'm guessing that's something you're particularly mindful of because of the position that you came into. At the tail end of the season, that there weren't big numbers of players signed on. There wasn't so many options off the bench. I'm guessing that's something that's going to change for this coming campaign.
Yeah, like them lads, I would have loved to have played them lads last season. If we'd have, I think back still, and if we'd have just nicked a win here, if we'd have nicked a win there, if Matty Timon had stuck them chances away against, was it Lancaster, the 10 men, and we hadn't lost a goal here, we could have seen them playing. I'd have loved to have seen them playing hard at it for 90 minutes in a Whitby shirt, because the situation would have allowed. Unfortunately, it didn't. We were in, well, the situation we were in. Every point was vital. So Jack unfortunately missed out the last few games, even though I thought he'd done well against FC when he came on, Morpeth. Cal got a couple of games here and there, and we tried to get Tommy signed up, but it didn't go through in time. So I would have loved to have seen him play 100%, but the situation just didn't allow. So pre-season is going to be a good opportunity to see him out there. And I know they're desperate. The messages, the conversations I've had, the local boys, they're desperate to play for their local club. And like I said, the chance will be there. And if we feel it's right for them, 100%. If we feel the need to maybe be another year or two down the line, we'll keep an eye on them and we'll look after them that way as well.
That's good to hear, actually. I think as a Whitby lad myself, I think people do like to see those familiar names, the lad, the lad down the road, the lad you went to school with, that familiar face in there, and keeps that connection with the town. I think that's really encouraging to hear. And for those that aren't aware, this is the likes of Carl Wilson, Tommy Dowson, and obviously Jack Kilpatrick, who we saw towards the end of the season, and maybe a few other familiar faces, maybe those involved with the 17s, the 18s, who did so well this season just gone. And so finally, I'm probably going to ask you a bit of an impossible question, Bully, and I'm going to look into the future a little bit. We've got that first friendly coming up on the 4th of July, and I'm sure we've got a few more that will be penciled in shortly. A trip to Mask United. Is it going to be, number 1, Jack Norton, number 2, trialist, number 3, trialist, or maybe just asking from a commentator's perspective, or is it maybe going to be a little bit more set in stone?
No, I'd like to hope come that day, the trialist family are not going to be out in force. Like, trialists' mum and dad are going to be over the moon how many kids they've got playing. No, there will be some. That's every club will have them, but myself and Denny, we don't want, like you say, a trialist A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, with people thinking, who on earth's that? But there's going to be, because like I say, lads are going to be bouncing clubs round clubs. But ideally, we want, and in my head, I'd love to have a good 10 or 12 lads settled come that first game. Might not happen for various reasons, but we're getting there, and if we have a good week this week, like I'm hoping we might, we'll be slightly nearer that target.
The Codcast, all things Whitby Town FC.
That's Lee Bullock speaking to myself. Liam, off the field, lots going on with the club. We've got sponsorship opportunities. We're looking for a new sports therapist, and also looking back on some tremendous donations to the 1926 club, and generally some really good fundraising.
Yeah, like you said, plenty happening. We'll start with, I think we'll go with the sports therapist role that's just been advertised as of today. So, as some supporters may have seen, Ben Slater, he decided that time was right to depart the club. So he has left that post. I know that the Lee Bullock's been trying to sort of source somebody to come in and take that role on. It's sort of someone that he knows internally. That just hasn't come to anything yet, unfortunately. So yeah, really, it's an exciting role, and I think really a chance for, perhaps someone maybe a bit younger, sort of just, starting out with the qualifications that have got them in place, whether they've been to university or other methods of getting it, to come in and be a part of a football environment. And, it's one of those roles that we get. It's not going to be a full-time job, but you're still going to get paid for it, much like the players do on a weekly basis. So, real chance to get some experience there. I know we've had, younger sort of sports therapists, we won't call them physios because that'll cause a big stir in the that particular sector of work. But yeah, it's a real chance to get involved, and especially Whitby's record, what better experience, because you're going to be kept pretty busy, it seems, with our injury over the last couple of years. But yeah, that's a big one. If anyone's interested in that, just drop our new club secretary Paul Walker an email. That is secretary@whitbytownfc.com. Yeah, the sponsorship opportunities as well we've got going on. We're slowly starting to build a squad up now. A few new players coming, as I've already mentioned. And Adam Gell, who signed on a contract, who's another one that's available. I can tell you that Adam Gell, his sponsors from last season have kept that on, which is Kev Hope and Tim Ingle. Shout out to them. Or Statler and Waldorf, as they put down for Adam Gell. They do like having a bit of a daft one. So that's that one. We've also got Thomas Crawford, who's taken up the sponsorship of Lee Bullock. So that's two people already taken. And then Charlie Stirland, literally straight away, without even having to advertise his name, he's been snapped up as well. So yeah, that's good to see. But in terms of the other players available, we've got Stan Hewitt, goalkeeping coach Neil Ince, who's always been a popular choice in previous years. Denny Ingram and Jack Norton also on there to be sponsored. So if anyone's interested in those, they can drop an email to info@whitbytownfc.com. And then yes, the 1926 club as well, doing really well. We've had some fantastic donations into that. I know that Ivor, the chairman, set it off with a nice £1,000 up front. We've had a £30 donation from a local pub, pub in Middlesbrough rather, that they didn't want to be named, but thank you to them for that. And then the amount that was raised at the centenary dinner, just short of £1,300, which is outstanding. Which that's ultimately community donations, local people getting involved to and putting, even if it's just a couple of quid each, it all adds up, as was proven on the night. And then the latest one again today, £300 from a Whitby Town supporter who again doesn't want to be named, which we fully respect. And another one which literally, has come in as of today. So an update from what was on social media earlier. We've had another £500 donation come in, wow. Which is from a company based in Middlesbrough. That's RJB Engineering Services Limited. So yeah, £500 they've donated in. So a huge shout out to them for that as well. And it's just good to see that it's really starting to build, because as much as it's not there for the club's weekly budget as such, it's there to help as the season progresses. Naturally, injuries, suspensions, anything like that, other unforeseen circumstances do come around, as we know all too well. So it'd be good if we can have a healthy pot there, and rather than sort of bringing emergency loans in, if you like, actually look into the market and see, right, can we perhaps afford to bring someone in on a non-contract basis, or even a contract towards the back end of the season, or go for sort of a more glamorous loan player, if you like, where perhaps you don't expect it, but if the funds are there to do it, then why not give it a go? Because ultimately, if we are in a good position, we don't want to weaken the team. So yeah, really good to see the momentum building on the 1926 club.
And I know we've sort of revamped it without making that commitment to the direct debits we've had previously, but it's just good to see that support coming from all over the place, really, in terms of that, and people actually wanting to see the club do well, particularly in this 100th year.
Thank you to Liam Ryder and my other guests, Lee Bullock, and our new signings as well, Charlie Stirland and Jack Norton as well. Thank you to you for listening. We'll be back next week with another Codcast. Bye for now.